Hi everyone, welcome back to Indie's News Corner. Indigo Diamond here with the latest drag news. Before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me down below, what are you looking forward to? Is there anything from this news list that you're looking forward to listening to? Anything that you're looking forward to watching? Let me know down below. But let's get into it. So, we've got quite a jam-packed schedule today. We've got Drag Race, and music, and WoW Presents Plus. So let's start with season 15 of Drag Race. So this week we had the Daytona Wind Part 2. Now, when I first heard about this, I was a bit skeptical considering how it went last time. I mean, the acting challenge wasn't bad. I actually really quite enjoyed the acting challenge last time. The only issue I had was all the farting put in afterwards. I just felt like it was kind of a bit unnecessary and then overdone at the same time because it didn't really add that much to it, and then it was just throughout the entire thing. It was just like, oh god, here we go. So I was a bit concerned, and then they told me, well, then they said it was going to be sitcom style, and I got more concerned because the whole point of it was it's sort of like a Dynasty rip-off, isn't it? And you know, Dynasty is obviously soap. I've never watched it, but you know, I've seen clips, you know, references and stuff like that, so I kind of understand that. Now, the acting challenge wasn't my favourite. There were some good moments in it, but overall, I wasn't a big fan. I think it would have been better if they had done it in the soap style again. I think putting it as a sitcom wasn't necessarily the smartest move. Now, the winner of this week's challenge was Mistress Isabelle Brooks, who played, was it Fancy? I think Mistress did an amazing job. I will say, I think this could have easily been a double win between Mistress and Malaysia, Baby Doll Fox. I think part of the reason Mistress was so good, I mean, yes, she did a lot of ad-libbing and stuff like that, but I think a lot of what was really good about her in the challenge was her and Malaysia's interactions with each other. Like, when Mistress first arrives, you know, Malaysia opens the door and she goes, "Mother has arrived," and then Malaysia just slams the door back in her face. Had me cackling to no end, and honestly, I wouldn't have been mad with a double win. I think it would have been a more satisfying ending, maybe. But congratulations to Mistress. It is very well deserved. She's been placing high a lot, but she's just not quite got the win, and you know, now she's finally got the win. I would also like to shout out though Anitra and Marsha. I do think those two together did fantastic. You know, they made me laugh so much. Anitra holding the urn, Marsha with the brownies, and then it turning out that Marsha had used the ashes in the brownies. Ew! It was, honestly, it was one of the standout parts for me. I think it was really good. The bottom two this week were Jax again and Aura Mayari. Now, I think Aura struggled a lot with the words, and I think Jax kind of was a lot of the. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I know they picked her up. They called her out on the fact that she didn't even get the party line right. Because there were a lot of Drag Race quotes like thrown in here, and they were like, "Oh, you know, party. You know, it's a reference to Adore Delano," and you know, I think, yeah, I don't think they were overly impressed with them. I think Aura made a good decision to switch her part. I just think the issue was she still wasn't quite able to get the part that she ended up with quite where it needed to be, which is a shame because I've been really enjoying Aura, and I do really like Jax. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the challenges they're getting just aren't quite their thing, or yeah, so they are the bottom two, and they have to lip sync to Sweetest Pie by Megan Thee Stallion and Dua Lipa. Now, this was a good lip sync, and honestly, it sounds horrible, but it was a really good lip sync for Jax. Like, Jax just slayed the lip sync. Like, I was sat there and I was like, as soon as sort of Jax started going, I was like, okay, I think Jax is the one that's going to be staying, and it turned out to be the case. But I think Jax had this really amazing way of being able to slow down at certain parts and then really pick up the pace for other bits where the music picked up, and I think that was exactly what she needed to do, and I think she knew that, and it was just amazing. Now, the biggest surprise from this week was the fact that we had a random special guest judge appear. Well, a random special guest appear right at the end of the Daytona Wins section, and that was Danny Trejo. Trejo? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I must admit, like, because they kind of very much teased us with it. Like, you know, you saw them rehearsing and, like, running it and everything. And then, like, the door would open and they'd cut to everyone being like, oh my god, no way. And so I was sat there and I was like, okay, so someone big has just come through that and it's someone unexpected. And because of that, you're like, oh, I have no idea who it could be. It could be anyone, literally. And yeah, when it turned out it was him, I sat there and went, of all the people they could have got for this, it's just like the most random person they could have potentially got. But I loved it so much. You know, I have no idea if, you know, he is a fan of the show or not, but you know, they had loads of outtakes of him doing like loads of really random quotes from the show. He did Miss Vanjie and started walking backwards. That was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, very, very good. Next week's episode, they are doing a lip sync Lollapalooza. Now, we started to see this, like, it kind of like makes an appearance every so often. Last season, it came in as a case of all but one queen was so bad at Snatch Game, we're just going to do this to get rid of someone. That's not happened this season. It looks like it's just going to be a case of, we're just doing one. That's just going to be it. So, yeah, interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I quite like the Lollapalooza because it's like we get lots of different lip syncs and we get to see kind of like everyone do a lip sync. So it's like people like Sasha, who we, you know, might not ever see in the bottom. You know, she doesn't seem to be anywhere near the bottom at this point, and I can't see her heading that way anytime soon. But we get to see people like her lip sync, see how she will do. The only concern I have is we're still only on like the 40-minute episodes. So it has been confirmed that the episodes are going back up to 90 minutes, but not until like the 10th of March, so it's like right towards the end of the season, which is one of those things. It's just awkward. I mean, hopefully they're going to release the full episodes like on WoW Presents Plus and we'll be able to watch them, but it just seems bizarre. It's like, why? Because they were like the long episodes at the beginning, and then they cut them down to like the 40 minutes, and now it's like they're cutting them down partway through a season until the 10th of March, and then they're going back up to 90 minutes. I don't know. It just seems weird to me, very, very weird. But in other Drag Race news, so we've had the cast announced for, I'm gonna mess up this name, Drag Race Sverige, which is a Swedish version, which is going to be premiering March 5th, I believe, on WoW Presents Plus. We have a cast announced of, I can't read my own writing. Do you have that problem? I have that problem. I cannot read what I've written. Admira Thunderpussy, Almighty Aphrodite, Antonina Nutshell, Electra, Indigo, Fontana, I'm a Queen, Santana Sex Drive, I think, Vanity Vane. We're going to have a host of Robert Foe and judges, oh god, Pharaoh Growth and Kaio Shikori. I've no idea if I've written that right or if that was right and I've just pronounced it wrong. Probably it's wrong and I've pronounced it wrong. But that will be kicking off on March 5th, so that's going to be partway through Drag Race Belgique. That will start airing because I think Drag Race Belgique starts soon. And so that will start, yeah, and then we'll start with our Drag Race overlap, which happens every year. I did find out actually today, very shortly before this video. So, US seasons obviously get what you're packing. When the queens get eliminated, they speak to. There's a video on YouTube where they speak to Michelle. It's very good. If you don't watch the What You Packing series, you really should. If nothing else, you know, you get a bit more time with the queens, which I really enjoy. Michelle tweeted something, and I tweeted back, going, "Oh, I wish there was a What You Packing for UK Drag Race because there isn't one." And with Michelle being on the judging panel for UK Drag Race, it was one of those things that always just felt weird. It was like, you know, is it a case of she couldn't do it because she didn't have time, one reason or the other? Turns out she did try to get a What You Packing for the UK Queens, and for whatever reason, whether it's the BBC said no, someone else said no, she couldn't do it, it's not a thing. I think it should be a thing. So yeah, I think it would be nice for the Queen. Well, I mean, with the What You Packings, it always ends up with all the queens, even the one that wins ends up on there. So I think I personally would love to see more of these queens, and I love getting more time with Michelle and seeing Michelle and the queens on a one-on-one basis as well. So I'm surprised that someone or a company or whatever it was said no, but you know, that's what I found out today. So you know, it is what it is. Let's go on to Wow Presents Plus because it's one thing, and then we'll do the music section. So, Wow Presents Plus has done a big reel of things that are coming back. Well, like shows and that they're going to be releasing on Wow Presents Plus. Make sure you check it out. You know, there's some good content on there. The one I wanted to mention because I think it's interesting that it's coming back. So, Alyssa Edwards used to have a series on there called Alyssa's Secret. Yet that's coming back. Alyssa's Secret, the reboot. Interesting because Alyssa had kind of like gone off on her own thing for like a long time. You know, she again one of those queens that's very big, very well known across the globe, and so I just find it interesting that she's coming back and she's doing this series again. Whether that means we are potentially leading up to seeing her on a versus the World series, whether that means she's maybe going to come back and do another All Stars, who knows? But you know, it is one of those things. You know, if she's starting to work closer with WoW again, that opportunity could present itself. And it's quite a funny series anyway because it's Alyssa. But on to music, and we've got a few things here. So, Sugar and Spice's talent show performance songs are both now available for streaming. So I found them on Spotify, which is where I get most of my music. So Spice's one, Dingaling, which is under the name Call Me Spice, all one word, and then Sugar's Bimbofied under Sugar's World, all one word, both available. Shea Coulee has announced that her debut album is going to be out in a couple of weeks on February the 17th, so that's going to be this coming Friday. She's going to release a single called Material, so keep an eye out for that. And Bob the Drag Queen has now released a new EP called Gay Bars, and that's Barz, which again is now available for streaming. So yes, lots of music kind of like coming out the pipe works and popping up, which is lovely to see. You know, a lot of these queens have fantastic voices. I'm always excited when someone like Jinx releases a new song. I would love to hear more from like Ben de la Creme. Adore's got a great voice. There are a lot of queens like Davina De Campo. I still want Davina De Campo to release an album which is just a cover of all the songs from Pirates of Penzance. Um, because is it Poor Wandering One she does quite well. I'm pretty sure I've heard that when I've gone to see her at a show, and I'm pretty sure that's what she did when she did The Voice. Pretty sure it was. Very good anyway, but yeah, lots of queens starting to release more music. I love hearing it. I love to hear more. So anytime that I find out another queen from Drag Race has released more music, it will pop up on this channel. I will, mention it. And yes, but that is all the news from this week. So lots happening in the world of Drag Race. I know there is a rumoured cast for UK vs. the World Season 2, which did start filming, I believe it was last week. Because I think it was the 6th it was supposedly started filming. I don't want to speak about that until we've got a confirmed cast, so it probably won't be till like what they're filming now. It'll probably be like again end of this year, sort of like it was with season 1 of UK versus the World. I mean, there's some great names being thrown out there. I've heard like things like Tia Coffee, Ms. Cracker, Scarlet Envy, Theresa May. There are lots of good names being thrown around and lots from international seasons like France, Philippines, that I would be excited to see get bigger exposure for me to see for the first time, because I can't watch the international seasons because they don't speak English and I can't read subtitles. I'm a very slow reader. It's just not going to be good for me to watch, and this is why I quite like the Versus the World seasons, because getting them on there, like Janie Jacquet from Holland, that was my first introduction to her when she was on UK versus the World season 1. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that rumored cast is true, and I'd like to see what the promo is going to be, because UK versus the World season 1 was very like gladiatorial combat almost in the promo. So it'd be interesting to see if they kept that or if they changed it up. They tend to change the promo each time, but I don't know with Versus World if they're going to do something different. So yeah, leave me a comment down below. What did you think of the news today? Are you looking forward to any of the songs? Shea Coulee releasing her album finally. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and I will see you lovely people next time. Bye!